Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's February 16th, 2014. This week we're going to do a lesson covering swing and shuffle rhythm. The question was sent in from Mike. He's out in England and he wrote in with this email. I've played guitar for many years, but have only just started reading music for guitar. I was wondering if you could please do a lesson on how to play written music that is instructed to be played in swing feel, as this is something I can't get my head around. Kind regards from Mike out in England. Well, hey, thanks for writing in, Mike. You know, the term swing feel means that pairs of written eighth notes are not to be played equally. It comes from the concept of how rhythm in styles such as jazz and blues can be swung rather than played in an equal increment. And if you can imagine for a moment how when an object on a rope is swung, it seems to remain hung in midair before continuing through its path. And so this hover or overhang is exactly what we end up doing rhythmically with our eighth note durations in the swing and shuffle feels. The first note of each of these pairs of eighth notes are understood to be twice as long as the second, implying a quarter note and an eighth note under the triplet feel. So let's get an idea for how this actually sounds by heading over to the guitar and running through a few examples. Alright, in getting started, I'd like to begin playing through both a straight time feel rhythm group compared to swung series notes. Now first we'll take an A from the 4th guitar string, 7th fret, and we're just going to perform a series of straight eighth notes. Here we go. You can tell that's really on the beat, it's really in the pocket, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's really straight sounding. But next, here's going to be a series off that same A note, but this time performed as the swung feel. So here we go. Check this out. You can see from the on-screen tab that what we really have here is it's a triplet figure, but we've combined the value of the first two eighth notes to form a quarter note, and then the remaining eighth note under the triplet feel. So we have 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Now, if we played it straight and direct like that, it would normally be referred to as a shuffle rhythm. When we find swing rhythms, they're going to be a little bit more modified for the genre music and so forth by mainly jazz musicians. So there's a little bit of a difference there. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But next, I'm going to do something very similar to what we just did, but this time with a melodic statement. I'm going to warn you, though, that it's going to sound very odd as a straight time feel because this thing is going to really need to be played with a swing idea. So anyway, here's the melody that I have done as a straight time feel. Check it out. So you can tell it sort of sounds like a blues idea, but it just doesn't have that, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and like that real nice swinging backbeat. So anyway, here's the part again, but this time I'm going to perform it with the swing feel. Pretty serious difference between those two ideas. They're really the same notes and the same structure, but changing that from a straight time feel over into the swung feel really brought it alive and sounds a lot more proper than it did as the straight time feel. But as you've been able to tell from the on-screen tab, our swing feel has obvious ties to the triplet meter, that 1 and a 2 and a feel. So a solid understanding of the eighth note triplet is going to be an absolute must in really understanding this stuff. And also keep in mind that most written pieces that you're going to have in them, the triplets won't be notated. It's just going to be standard eighth notes throughout the piece. So instead you'll see the song chart marked as swing, indicated by 2 eighth notes equaling swung time, which would be a quarter note and an eighth under the triplet symbol. Now, it goes without saying that the swing feel doesn't just get used around guitar licks and riffs. It also plays a pretty serious role around rhythms as well. So in my last examples, I wanted to demonstrate how the same rhythm part could function as both a straight time concept in one style of music, but yet operate within another style of music as the swung feel. Now, let's start with a straight time example in sort of a 1950s rock and roll music aspect. This is going to be sort of the boogie part. Check it out. So I'm sure you've heard something like that before. It's super common feel. But let's switch that straight time feel over to the swung feel by applying a shuffle, giving us much more of a blues boogie effect. So once again, here's the straight time. You can really hear that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here's the boogie effect with that shuffle. So as you can tell, the concept of swing and shuffle and so forth involves performing a rhythm part deliberately playing behind or ahead of the beat. The switch over from a straight time feel into the swung feel requires us to simply play music with a triplet or compound meter edge to it. And this means music generally written in 4/4 will basically be played in 12/8. And as mentioned, the sheet music is often marked up as swing or shuffle, but realize that the swing feel is an assumed feel by the musicians. Well, you know, it's important to understand not only how to feel a swung note, but also how to feel this idea in different styles of music. See, in blues, for example, we will often call this idea the shuffle feel. And in that style, the pulse is nearly always felt with the first note in the pair exactly twice the duration of the second note. However, in jazz music, we will more commonly hear the term swing applied. Now, in jazz, a swing is not exact, and it can vary depending on several factors, such as how fast or slow the music is, depends on the style of music that you're playing, or even the individual mood of the musicians. Now, one thing's for sure, in order to develop this feel, a strong awareness for the basic triplet rhythm is critical. By leaving out or resting the middle note of each 3-note triplet group, you'll quickly start to develop the swing idea. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for today. As always, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.